let's all get a laugh together here because this is the list. And you see the list, right? Well, I don't see, correct me if I'm wrong, do you see Angel Reese on this list?
Angel Reese is struggling after ESPN's rankings humbled her. Once thinking she ruled the court, she's now seen as just a rebound chaser. Frustrated, she's throwing a tantrum. Maybe they simply watched the tape.
So Asia Wilson 1, Caitlin Clark 2, Brianna Stewart 3, Nafisa Collier 4, and Alyssa Thomas at 5.
Angel Reese missed the top 10 in ESPN's rankings, landing at 12th place. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark sits comfortably at second. Any comparison between them is over. Clark's dominance speaks for itself.
Leah Boston and Angel being higher than Satu, that's crazy work, man. I'm sorry.
Angel Reese's fall in the rankings is embarrassing. Despite all the hype, talk, and antics, she couldn't even break the top 10. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark lets her game do the talking, while Reese likely scrambles for excuses online.
We've got ESPN's ranks of WNBA players right now, and Caitlin Clark is really damn high. One could argue she's not high enough. But I think it's pretty surprising for a lot of these folks. I will tell you this straight up. Angel Reese ain't nowhere to be found in the top 10. She's not involved. You're not here. Sorry, but not sorry. You're not to be seen.
Don't even start with the "but she's a double-double machine" argument. ESPN once downplayed Caitlin Clark, but now they have no choice but to respect her. The numbers, skill, and rankings all prove her dominance. Meanwhile, Angel Reese fans have to scroll down just to find her at 12th place, like showing up to a party thinking you're VIP, only to be left waiting outside while Clark is already inside running the show. The false narrative that Reese was on Clark's level has completely crumbled, leaving her critics in silence.
Okay, and lo and behold, I couldn't believe my eyes when I seen number 2, they had Caitlin Clark. I said, really?
Let's be real. If the roles were reversed and Caitlin Clark ranked 12th while Angel Reese was 2nd, the internet would never stop talking about it. But now suddenly, rankings don't matter? Convenient. If you're sitting at 12th, it reflects your skill level. Clark, ranked 2nd, honestly deserves 1st, but this still solidifies her status as the face of women's basketball. Meanwhile, Reese's 12th place ranking isn't a good look, especially after all the talk. But hey, at least she can still say she's barely in the top 15.
We did go off of how much winning Caitlin was doing, how she was contributing to winning, and then going off the viewership and all that. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Caitlin should have won, man. I think Caitlin should have won.
ESPN must have seen the truth early, because when the experts released their rankings, reality finally set in. Looking back at last season, it was baffling that ESPN ranked Angel Reese above Caitlin Clark on the rookie list. Clark was breaking records, draining deep threes, and making defenders question their careers, while Reese was simply bringing the vibes. Now, the rankings have corrected that mistake, confirming what fans already knew. Clark is on another level.
And this is ESPN's list, y'all, not mine. So don't be chirping, getting mad if your fave isn't at the top. So at number 1, we have Cameron Brink. Number 2, Angel Reese. Number 3, Kate Martin. 4, Rickea Jackson. 5, Julie Vanloo. And 6, Caitlin.
Sure, she grabbed some rebounds, but beyond that, what were we really watching? Poor shooting, weak defense, and no real skill set. Yet somehow, she was crowned a top rookie. Fast forward to now, and the experts have finally woken up. Maybe they watched the games or stopped falling for TikTok hype, but justice has been served. The more you watch Angel Reese play, the clearer it gets. She hasn't improved. In fact, she might have gotten worse with struggling shooting, stat-padding defense, and non-existent offense.
Number 2 player in the entire league, not on the Olympic team. Just pointing that out. And of course, you did have some haters. Please, Clark is not better than Stewie, Fee, or Ionescu. Clark is not better than Stewart. They glazing Clark is not better than Ionescu, blah, blah, blah. No matter what Caitlin Clark does, she's going to have some haters out there. It's just, they're losing their minds over all the people that have either been traded for and signed or signed for the Indiana Fever right now. And of course, it looks like a powerhouse of a team.
This is exactly why ESPN's ranking last year was so bizarre. They actually tried to convince the world that Angel Reese was better than Caitlin Clark. What were we watching? Clark was leading her team, making WNBA history, and effortlessly draining deep threes. Meanwhile, Reese was putting up some of the most mediocre double-doubles ever. After months of excuses, overhyped debates, and non-stop Twitter arguments, the truth is finally setting in. Angel's game just isn't it. She's not a star, not elite. She's just there.
Asia number 1, Caitlin number 2, Brianna number 3, and now we really have Brianna over Nafisa in terms of projections going into next year. Stop. Nafisa Collier is definitely top 2 in this league.
The pointless Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese debate is finally over, a debate that never should have existed. The record is straight. Clark is a generational talent, while Reese is just there. Clark is redefining the game, breaking records, draining deep threes, and making defenses look like they're in slow motion. Meanwhile, Reese and her crew sit on the sidelines, throwing shade like it's their full-time job. Someone should remind Angel that talking trash is fine, but it only works if you actually back it up.
There is no individual who has benefited more from the Caitlin Clark effect than Angel Reese. That's my hot take. Think about it. From going up against her, playing her in college, taking on that villain role, going into the league at the same time as Caitlin Clark, everything that she's said and done on social media or in post-game press conferences, she is a star because of Caitlin Clark. She would not be a star if Caitlin Clark weren't a player. She'd be just as good a women's basketball player. She'd have been picked high in the WNBA draft and would still be a good player. Yep. But she is a star because of Caitlin Clark.
She would be a star in women's basketball circles.
Well, that's not what I mean, though.
Yeah, no, I
she
know.
is a star in the world.
Let's talk about Angel Reese's fans. The level of delusion is historic. They claim her game is unstoppable while ignoring the fact that she's bricking shots like she's trying to build a house. They cry about hate when people simply state facts. It's not being mean, it's just using our eyes. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is effortlessly dropping 30-point games, setting records like it's a hobby and generating more revenue than entire franchises. Angel? She's just existing. When her team loses, it's always the refs, the system, or the media. Maybe it's just her. The debate is over. Caitlin Clark is the future of the WNBA, while Reese is just another loud player with a broken jumper.
Angel Reese went on this massive rant last year with Kennedy Carter, I believe, standing next to her about how people are tuning in for her. It wasn't just one other person, but all these people are moving the needle and people want to watch her, except you're not her. You're not her.
Right now, only one player stands between Caitlin Clark and the MVP title, A'ja Wilson. Sure, Wilson has won before and plays on a stacked Aces team, but let's be honest, she's just holding on to that top spot for now. Clark is coming fast, and by this time next year, she could be the undisputed best player in the league. It wouldn't be shocking. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever made big moves in free agency, stacking their roster with talent. Clark is about to be unstoppable. MVP numbers, record-breaking threes, and defenses completely lost trying to stop her. The Aces? They'll be fine, but they should definitely be sweating.
What the Indiana Fever did last night got me so excited. The Fever, if you haven't been paying attention, they are really active in ensuring that Caitlin Clark and company have a true contending lineup next season. They have Caitlin Clark.
The real question now is, what's next for Angel Reese? This season has been rough. Far from the breakout year she expected. Hyped up as a future star, she's struggled instead of dominating. And let's be honest, she talks way too much for someone playing like this. At this rate, she might not even make next season's rankings, possibly dropping even lower. That kind of regression is impressive in the worst way. The problem? She's all talk, no results.
I think they had a list last year. She was like 15 or something like that. And Angel was like 19. And this year they got it closer to being right. It's more so, it's closer, okay? She's second. And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Angel Reese is trying to play the villain, but the only thing truly villainous is her stat line, full of missed layups. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is making history, breaking records, and actually backing it up like real superstars do. She doesn't need to yell for attention or hope people ignore the box score. Clark is coming for that MVP, and the Indiana Fever are looking dangerous. The Aces better watch out because Clark's arrival just changed everything. As for Reese, she should forget rankings and focus on staying relevant, because if this season is any sign, things will only get worse for her.
The biggest thing for me is her not even responding to all that's going on. And I think that's commendable. I think she's a unicorn. She's doing everything I thought she was going to do and more, like win the MVP.
You think
That's not going to happen this year, but it could happen very soon.
It's great for the conversation.
Y'all all went to the Olympics and now y'all losing now. Y'all burnt out? Y'all should have let this young girl go over there and play.
I just don't
But
think
then she
there's
would
a
have been.
correlation.
Nah, but she would because she's a rookie. You let these young play. Caitlin Clark is a superhero.
One thing is undeniable. Caitlin Clark is the main event, the superstar, the showstopper. She keeps improving, and the rankings reflect it. More points, more fans, more records, and more eyes glued to the screen every time she steps on the court. At this point, the only thing she hasn't done is sign autographs while dropping 40 points, but give it time. Meanwhile, let's check in on Angel Reese. Yikes. Turns out, taunting someone better than you isn't a career strategy. In 2023, Reese's fans were loud, insisting she was on Clark's level. Now, silence. They've gone from claiming Reese is just as good to barely defending her struggles. It's been a while since anyone could seriously compare the two, unless the sentence is, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent and Angel Reese is also present. Clark keeps rising, while Reese stays the same. The hype train left, and Reese is still trying to buy a ticket.
So Caitlin Clark is somebody that is going to probably, she's going to, I would say, be, in my opinion, the second favorite for MVP. I think she is going to be the second favorite for MVP in the WNBA. That is how confident I am in Caitlin Clark's year 2.
Let's talk about A'ja Wilson, an undeniably great player, but let's be real. She benefits from playing on a stacked Aces team. Aces fans act like she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if Caitlin Clark had that kind of support, she'd be dropping 50 a night while solving world hunger on her off days. Wilson fans love to claim she's untouchable, but she's been known to disappear in big moments more than my Wi-Fi during a storm. And let's not even get started on her fans. They seem more obsessed with tearing down Clark than hyping up Wilson. Almost like they know deep down their star just can't match up.
And I'll be damned if they didn't go get Sid. Ah! They went up and snatched Sid Colson from the Aces. She is 100% vibes. She is 100% going to be a backup for Caitlin. It's going to be fantastic. Backup for Kelsey. She is a great addition to this backcourt. She has senior leadership. She has championship experience. She is the most fun ever.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues doing what she does best, making history, filling arenas, and breaking records like it's second nature. She has more fans than half the league combined, and honestly, the WNBA should be sending her thank you baskets. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for more.